Zacks Rank Buys, stocks with a short-term buy or strong buy recommendation. Now, here are more Zacks Rank Buys. Where, oh where, can you find value stock investments these days? Well, Tracey Ryniec is here to give us a couple of stocks to look at in that category, in case you're interested. She's our value equity strategist at Zacks.com. I have to admit that I've only heard of one of these.
Okay.
But we're going to start with Asbury Automotive Group, ABG, ticker symbol. Is this a parts store?
Kind of. I mean, they do car retailing, so they own the car dealerships, basically.
Oh.
They're one of the largest in the nation. They have 80 dealerships that they own, and then they franchise out over 100 more across the U.S.
Like a CarMax?
Kind of. I mean, they sell 38 different brands, all brands, imports, U.S. made, new and used,
okay.
yes. And they do some servicing and financing and the whole shebang.
Oh, okay.
So yes, it's very interesting because I've never heard of them before.
That is
covering them here too.
Yeah.
The car sector has been pretty beaten up. It was not good last year. It was the worst year in their 70-year history. They had to lay off a lot of people. They consolidated things. But they are seeing a comeback here, which is why they're a value stock. They're trading around a little over 9 times earnings, so they're pretty cheap here. But they had a good first quarter. Interestingly enough, there was pent-up demand. People were tired of driving their old clunkers, yeah. And so they bought both new and used, and revenue was up 17% in the first quarter. It also helped that the automakers gave really big incentives in March for new cars. So they had kind of a combination pent up plus these great incentives. Mm-hmm. So the first quarter was great. They beat estimates. Things look pretty good. The estimates have all been jumping off that beat because it was big, and people are kind of optimistic going forward here. So you can see that the estimates are up. Interestingly, it's kind of hard to tell what's going to happen going forward with cars because they had these big incentives. They reported this first quarter in April, so it's been a couple months. We won't know till July really what's kind of happening in the second quarter. Mm-hmm. So the chart is, it hit a 2-year high recently, and then it's pulled back, so that's what made it a little bit more attractive here. But underlying fundamentals are kind of interesting because they did do a lot of the cuts and things that they had to do in 2009.
All right. You also wrote recently about Stillwater Mining Company, SWC, the ticker symbol, as another value consideration. What do they mine?
They do the platinum group metals, which is palladium and platinum.
Okay.
And they're interesting because they have their mines out in Montana. They're the only platinum miners in the United States, and they're the largest outside of Russia and South Africa. So they kind of have this niche little mine, and they've been around for a long time. They started mining this location in 1890s, and other things were mined there. And then they found the platinum and palladium there in the 1970s. So they've been mining it for a couple decades here. So this is not like a fly-by-night
operation.
Weird miner that does not know what's going on.
Yeah.
So they've been interesting as well because a lot of their revenue comes from obviously the price of platinum and palladium, which was crushed down in 2008, 2009, but has been making a big comeback. So their first quarter that they just reported at the beginning of May, they really killed it because of the price increases and because their volumes also rose. Mm-hmm. So they saw revenue up over 50%, mainly because of the price increases. But, that's all iffy on what's happening with platinum prices. So the company kept guidance pretty much the same for the full year, which was kind of a little disappointing. But we have one estimate on this company, and that estimate went up regardless of what the guidance was. So they see positive things going forward here. So you can see that the full year estimates nearly doubled in the last 90 days because of the platinum prices. Mm-hmm. So the chart is kind of interesting. They have really come off of the bottom as other commodity prices have rallied, and then they've pulled back. So it makes it kind of an interesting play right here because they're in this niche market and their products are actually used a lot in cars, which are seeing this comeback, which we just talked about.
Interesting, yeah. Where is the price of platinum?
I don't know. It's gone up. Their realization has gone from like the high fours, like 490 at the end of 2008, up to over to 640, which is a huge price increase.
Interesting. So if you want to find out more about these and other value stocks, go to our homepage at Zacks.com. We put 4 new Zacks stock pick ideas up for you up in the upper right-hand corner daily, one in each of the investing categories written about. With Tracey, I'm Terry Ruffalo.